Welcome back. This is Jetfire's Annie 150, and this is Sci Fi Hallway Part 8, creating modular system. So now we were working on the floor panels. Okay, so let's take a look and make sure everything is set up properly. Everything needs to have depth. Okay, so we have depth on this piece. We need depth. We have depth on that. We need depth on this. So let's go ahead and take this time to make sure that we extrude these edges all the way around and add depth. And let's try to keep them about the same depth. So I'm going to go Control E, go to the side view and move that up. Let's go ahead and turn grid snap off. Move that up to match the rest of these. There we go. And let's take a look and see if we have any issues. And of course we have issues. Why wouldn't we have issues? Oh boy, look at that. Alright, so this is when, if you see all this weird stuff going on, all that kind of strange stuff going on, this is what you want to do. Control Z back. And it's extruded. We don't want to use this tool. We just want to use. We don't want to use the manipulator that actually comes with the extrude. Hit the W key and just move it up like that. Okay, so if you get that weirdness going on, hit the W key and you can do the same extrude, same movement. So between the two, between the manipulator that comes with it and the W key, it's really up to you how you want to use it. Now you can see how this has caused me problems, and this is probably something I should have done with this one. But I can fix this. It's not a big deal. So however you want to do it, it's fine with me. So let's go ahead and move that vertex up and just kind of make that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We'll move that over a little bit and that one over a little bit. And so you can fix all this stuff. And again, I don't want to waste your time fixing these things. I'm going to do this off camera, fixing all this stuff. Okay? So, you know, you can do that yourself on your own. Okay? But we want to try to keep the thickness about the same all the way around if we can. Okay? That's the idea. Alright, so let's go to the next one and continue down the row here. See what we got on this one. And the same thing for this. We want to add thickness, add an edge. So let's go ahead and add thickness to this as well. And I think I'm just going to go Control E and hit the W key right away and just move that up. And let's go to the side view and try to keep them all the same. Okay, great. That looks good. Alright, so this will just give us some room for error when we're putting pieces together. Alright, it just gives us room for error. And we can move things up and down if we need to. And if you were to ever sell any of these, which you can't because you're using a student version of Maya, but I have a full version and I pay for it monthly. And it's costly. You could sell it, but you can't sell it unless you use something like Blender. So you'd have to make all your stuff in Blender, then you can sell it and you can do whatever you want. But if you're using Maya, you're not able to use Maya and sell it. Looks like I gotta get rid of some of these faces over here. So I'm just kind of cleaning things up really quick before I move it down, give it an edge. So I'll get rid of some of these pieces that I forgot to do. Here we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that edge here. Don't double click on it and do a Control E and move it down. Okay. Instead of that, I'm going to do the W key. Move it down. There we go. So kind of give it some depth there. Again, I can fix these types of things. I can fix these types of things by going to vertex and just merging these vertices together. Okay, I can do that. And it's really simple. Hold down the shift key, right mouse button, go into target weld, and just start target welding these. And that should take care of all these little guys right here. Okay, great. We'll do the same for this side over here. Again, this just, you know, sometimes I clean things up as I'm going, and sometimes I wait until I'm done and then I clean everything up at once. But sometimes I just decide to clean up, and I'm just going to clean up. So that looks pretty good. So that's how you clean that part up. You can do the rest, the same with the rest of them. So we need to add edges to this as well. So go to edge mode. And let's go ahead and just double click on that edge right there. Just make sure that you don't have anything weird going on. So I'm going to hit the 4 key, which is wireframe. And notice that it did not follow these because I don't think I got rid of the faces on those backs here. So let's get rid of those. There we go. Again, just little things that we forget to do that you need to, just if you find them, make sure you get that taken care of. Edge mode, double click on it now, we can see that it goes all the way around. Hit the 4 key, you can see that goes all the way around. There we go. Alright, that looks good. 5 key and then extrude, Control E. And I'm just not going to waste my time with the manipulator here. I'm going to hit the W key right away and move it down. Again, I'm going to do the same thing with this one, just to fix it right away. Let's go to the weld tool. I have to have the selection on, object mode. Shift, right mouse button, target weld, click anywhere, and then just start welding. Okay. And you got yourself a pretty cool looking model. There we go. Alright, here. Alright, cool. There you go. And let's hit the Q key. Go back to selection mode, and these are looking really nice. We're finishing all of these off. Looking really good. Alright, so that looks good. And then let's go ahead and just go down to this one right here. Do the same thing, make sure everything's taken care of as far as clean up and before we do this, and then go to edge mode. I think we're good with this one. I'm going to hit the 4 key, and you can see that I got all those taken care of. Those look good. And hit the 5 key again, and then Control E, and then I'm just going to hit the W key and move that down. That seems to work out pretty good for us. And then, cleanup's probably better to do it now. Let's go ahead and go to target weld, click anywhere, and just start welding. Now if you see that it doesn't go into vertex mode, just right click over it and go to vertex mode, and you're good to go. Sometimes it gets stuck. Get a little closer here. Alright. And we're just going to weld all those. Okay, instead of wasting your time on this, I'm going to weld the other side, so I'm going to pause it. Okay, this is really weird. I unpaused it real quick because I ran into this weird thing here. This is really strange. Look at that. So sometimes you have to go below, and we did a little bit, so it's not much. That's okay. So what I do with this one, I just go ahead and go from here to here, and from here to here. There we go. So I'll pause it again, and we got a little bit of a gap there, and so I have that finished, and then I'll clean up this side over here, okay, and then we'll start on the other one. Pause it just real quick. Okay, we're back, and I got this side done. Alright, so that is completely done. Hit the Q key to get out of the tool. There we go. And if it doesn't work, just click off somewhere else, like a gray area, and hit the Q key. Alright, one more, and we know what to do here, right? So just double check, make sure you have everything cleaned up this way, and everything looks good. And then you're ready to go into edge mode, and just go ahead and extrude that. Control E and then W, and move that down. Just kind of eyeball what you've been doing here. Okay, we can fix all this stuff later. Alright, so, and then I want you to weld those pieces, and I'll come back, we'll pause, and then we'll move on to showing you how to do a variance. Alright, I'll pause it real quick. Okay, this piece is all done, so everything is cleaned up. Just check your work really quick. Make sure we have depth on everything. We can always fix these little things like this. You know, there's some strange things going on here we can fix, and I'm going to fix those myself. And then what I'm going to do is make sure they're all level across here. I don't want to see stuff like this. So basically, I want this part here, these two pieces, to be level all the way across. So I would do something like this, right, to make sure everything's level. Okay. So that's something that I'm going to do. I'm going to pause the video, get all this done. So I'm just going to move everything so it's all, you know, the same all the way across. Okay. And I'll show you what I've done. All right. So we're also going to get rid of all this weird stuff here, right? So to do that, just the outside part here. To do that, I would bring everything up, right, and make it level. Okay, here we go. And we talked about how to do that. You remember that? How to do that all at one time, right? So what you can do to create a piece that is level and looks really, really good, your pieces, especially if you're going to, you know, put it on the marketplace, you want your models to look good and smooth and even. So what I would suggest is, what you can do is, you don't want to move anything from the bottom, just the top part. So on here, we would select all those vertices, and we want to snap them to one spot. So I'm going to click on the grid, and here's a little tip. I think I showed you this before. Double click on this guy, and we want to go to Move Snap Settings and turn off Retain Component Spacing. Okay, what that's going to do is it keeps it from snapping. It forces it to snap one way. So I'm going to do that. So you can see it snaps perfectly, and then I'm going to click off the grid snap and then move it down where I want it to be. Okay, all right. So now that one's snapped, and you can do that with the rest of these, like these guys right here and this piece right here, to be level with everything. So I would take all these, right, from this piece here, and I want everything to snap back. I don't want to have that little creak in there. I want it to be one flush piece. Okay? So to do that, I would turn grid snap on again, make sure retain component spacing is off, and then move it over. Okay, there we go, like that. So they're all snapping. Okay, I probably want to do that for the other ones too as well. Let's take a look and see what I got with this. Here we go. So that looks pretty good. We just need to make sure we include these two as well. So I'm going to go Control Z back, and let's do these two. So hold the Shift key down, select those, and let's go ahead and snap those back. There we go. And then snap them back. There we go. And then what we're going to do is find a spot that we all want them to be, and let's say right about there. Okay. So now we have this piece finished. Okay. Alright. Alright, for some reason I forgot to cut this part out. So I might have to go in here and make some adjustments to this, because this top piece should have been separate, this right here. So I think in another video I'll show you how to get rid of, cut that apart. It's pretty simple. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean up these parts right here. And I'm not going to talk while I'm doing it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Okay? So you can keep track. You can watch me do it. Or you can speed through. So anyway, I'm going to fix all the rest of these pieces. Okay? All right. Should go to select. And components, let's see. Convert selection to vertices. There we go. That's what I wanted. And let's go ahead and snap those up from the side view. There we go. Perfect. And do the same thing with this one. Convert those edges to, let's see, convert. Where are we? I always get stuck. Convert, there we go. Vertices. And we'll snap those up. Grid. There we go. And then click on grid again and then move that down. So grid is off when you're moving these around. There we go. That looks good. And that makes for a nicer piece. If you go out and you want to sell your pieces, you want your pieces to look nice and clean. Don't want any really weird, bizarre edges on it. I'll just convert those selection again. Vertices. Hit the grid snap on up there at the top, and then snap them up, and then click it off just to bring it down again like that. Okay, so we've got some nice the ceiling pieces are completed, and now we just need to do the back pieces, right? Now this one's a solid piece. You can tell it's solid. So what I can do is I can take the back off, probably a good idea. So just cleaning up here, and I got to be very careful not to select anything from the front. Okay. So mainly we're just kind of cleaning things up so we don't have to do this later. And so we can make everything pretty much even, consistent. There we go. And I'm going to hit the 4 key. The reason for that is I'm able to see through the object and see anything else in here that I might have selected by accident. Because sometimes hitting the 5 key, you can't see the bottom and you may have missed something, so you have to be really careful. So let's go ahead and delete that. And just look around on your model, because now's the time to find issues. Like just very carefully look at it, make sure you didn't select any faces or anything and you got rid of anything else. There we go. Alright, with this piece the same thing. We want to bring everything back, so let's go ahead and click on the edge. That's about the easiest way to do it. Select this edge and it goes all the way around, and then you just convert your selection to vertices, and then click on your grid snap, hit the W key, and that should snap it. Okay, and then click on grid snap again and just move it back where you want it. You don't want to go past your other vertices, so be careful how far you go back. Okay, there we go. And pretty soon we're gonna set up a standard here all the way in the back here for all the backs, so don't worry about it right now. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. Edge mode, again, select component, convert selection to vertex, and then go through this whole process. Let me see if I can close that down a little bit. Nope. Grid snap on, pop it out, turn off grid snap, and then bring it back. There we go. Bring it back. There we go. Something like that. Just try to keep them about the same. We'll fix that later. Okay. Go to selection mode. And then the last one here. Go to edge mode. Double click on the edge. Here we go. Selection. Convert selection. And then do the same thing. Grid snap on. Pop it out. Grid, and then turn grid snap off. And then just kind of ease it back in again. And kind of get them lined up. There we go. So that looks a lot more professional. Okay. And that's really looking nice. I think we're good with the bottom tiles are already done. I don't have to do those. The top tiles are done now. And so that is fantastic. I'm very happy with what we have done so far. And this is a good place to stop at this point.